All right, Algeria, the host of the 2025 edition of the Intra-Africa Trade Fair today, hosted the final lap of the series of business roadshows designed to stimulate entrepreneurs, business leaders, and exhibitors, as well as others, to attend the grand event due in Algiers in early September. Now, speaking earlier today in Algiers is the opening of the Business Forum. He's the chairman of the Iatf Advisory Council, Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, and the executive vice president of the Iatf, Kanayo Awani. Let's listen.
The Iatf is the largest and go-to trade and investment fair on the African continent. Intra-African trade presents a huge opportunity for African economies to enhance their resilience in today's rapidly changing world. And if I may say here and now, we need to make sure, we in Africa need to make sure that we can rely more on ourselves than outside, than relying on outsiders in a fractured and uncertain world, which is the world we are living in now. Through the Iatf, Africa needs to join hands and build on the gains that have been achieved so far in promoting trade with itself under the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. The Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement provides an opportunity for the continent to achieve economic emancipation and self-reliance and build the Africa we want. And not only the Africa we want, but also the Africa we need. We must move away from people received ideas, received narrative. Let the narrative be our own narrative. The Africa we need and the Africa we want. And that is what Afrexim Bank and Iatf and Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement is all about.
What we are doing today is to dismantle, is to reverse engineer, and to ensure that Africa is no longer a supplier of raw materials while consuming value-added products from abroad, that the AFCFT, that the trade fair, is all a collective statement that Africa will no longer be defined by extraction, but by transformation and trade. This is what the trade fair represents, distinguished guests. Conventional wisdom will tell us that Africa's low level of intra-African trade is due to infrastructure. But a more fundamental barrier, in our view at the bank, is that it's access, is the barriers, is the boundaries, is the lack of access to trade and market information. For instance, how can African countries face food insecurity while fertilizer is produced in Algeria, is produced in Nigeria, and yet they are exported to USA and Brazil instead of being distributed regionally? Why does West Africa import all its beef from South America when Botswana and Namibia remain underutilized? And why would Tunisia import leather products from Italy and France when they can source from Egypt, when they can source from Ethiopia, or when they can source from South Africa? As we like to do in Afrexim Bank, working with partners, what we're trying to do is to liberate divisions that have been hitherto entrapped, and use our resources and capabilities to see that we reverse and ensure that Africa will stand on its 2 feet. That is why we launched the Intra-African Trade Bank in Afrexim Bank, and that's why we launched the Intra-African Trade Fair. The trade fair is not merely an exhibition, as I tried to say previously, but it's a marketplace for the AfCFTA. It's a platform to close that trade information gap. It's a platform where buyers and sellers, investors and investment opportunities will converge. It's a platform for public and private sector dialogue. And since its inception in 2018, the Iatf has held 3 resoundingly successful fairs, attracting over 70,000 participants, about 5,000 exhibitors in total, hosting buyers and sellers from over 130 countries, and has generated more than $100 billion in trade and investment.